Amy, and technology can't stop me for long. My laptop is happily at the Mac store, which is why I really started strategizing about what is the end of this year going to look like for me, for my goals, whether they're personal or business. And so I wanted to talk to you about the fact that we have 107 days left in 2023. And I want you to hearken to the first of the year when you said, this is the year I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, right? If you follow me, you know I really encourage you to have three things that you're going to keep doing that's always worked for you that you want to keep doing, three things you're going to stop doing, and three things you're going to try. And so I want you to think about what you were thinking in January and realize that you have a whole quarter, right? It feels like, oh my gosh, we don't have any time. But if you're a sports fan, you know whether it's the bottom of the eighth inning or it's the fourth quarter, anything can happen, right? And we are the captains of our teams. We're in charge of our health. We're in charge of our finances. We're in charge of our businesses. So what could you do now that would help you really activate in these last few months? And the first most important thing is to prioritize your goals. If your goal was to do 170 things, right? I'm going to read 100 books. Well, let's reframe that goal for you. Let's decide what would really work and what's really going to impact your bottom line. And the way I often start about this is I ask people what their end goal would look like if it came true, right? You get in danger when you say things like, I have financial freedom. But what does that mean to you? Does that mean you're a billionaire? Or does that mean that you have control of your time, that you have control of your resources, that you're able to pay a car off if you want to, and you're able to work what hours you wish, right? So make sure that you're being really specific about those goals. Next is to make them realistic, right? We're not going to read 170 books in the last quarter, but you might be able to read 5 or 10. You're not going to be able to dig out of $500,000 worth of debt, but you might be able to put a plan into place and meet with some advisors and get something going and make progress, right? So make those goals reasonable. And then think about your time management. At the end of the day, you've got to be realistic about what you have to work with. And so the first thing I recommend you do in this category is that you say, all right, let's say you work 9 to 5. So every day I work 9 to 5. Here's where I have fringe hours, right? I always get an hour for lunch and I never take it. So I could take an hour for lunch and start reading those books. I could get up an hour early and start reading those books. Whatever it is, I want you to set a priority of your time as well so that you're not just hell bent for leather, because the goal here is for you to work on how you can work on achieving your goals in the fourth quarter without sacrificing your health or your business, right? And then next is not to neglect your health. That's actually super important because a lot of the times people decide that they either can have a great business while they suffer with their health, or they can be super healthy while their business suffers. And that's just a myth. The perfect person to follow, if you're fascinated by that conundrum or challenged by it, is Kristen Boss, who is currently managing to do both beautifully. She once had the same challenge and belief that you have, if that's your thinking. And now she's totally turned it around. So make sure that you're realizing your health is really the foundational layer of all of this. Next is simple. It's what can you delegate? What can you outsource? Let's say that you were absolutely going to get your website started this year and you haven't even begun. First of all, make sure you check out Canva because they've got an easy website set up if that's what you're trying to do. But maybe this is something you need to outsource. If your resources are really limited right now, maybe you want to do a trade with someone and say, look, I'm a great graphic artist, but I don't know much about building a website. Can we trade? I will do your graphic design, see what you think, produce a couple of projects for you. And can you help me just get my website up and going? Thank you very much. So if you have the resources, delegate for sure. Next is to seek support. It's not just about professionals that you might be able to delegate to, but it's really critical to kind of bring your team around you, your closest friends, your family, your partner in life, your children, and say, look, we've got 107 days left in 2023, and you know I was determined and am still determined to achieve this goal by then. And so this is what I need from you. As a friend of mine once said when she launched her Young Living business, which has been very successful, is she told her family, I need a certain period of time. And I think she said 90 days. And she said the laundry fairy isn't going to show up. The dinner fairy isn't going to show up. The cleaning fairy isn't going to show up. You're going to have to really fend for yourself because I'm diving deep into these goals. You don't have to do it that way, but I thought that was such a creative way to engage her family in working towards their goal together. And now her daughter has a Young Living business. It's a really cool legacy that she's created because she's shown them an example. So when you're asking for support, realize you're also modeling how your family can learn from you, right? Your kids are watching you. This is going to be great for them. Then review and adjust. Let's say that here you are, you're in the almost end of the third quarter, and you're like, what I'm doing is not working. If I'm honest, what I'm doing isn't working. Review what you're doing. Talk to a trusted person in your circle, maybe an upline, maybe a coach, and say, this is what I've been doing. Or just get real with yourself. A lot of the times when I'm coaching people, I find out that the reason they're not achieving their goals is fear or lack of worthiness or a true inability to feel authentically like that goal is achievable, right? So make sure that you're getting support in that way. And then stay positive and persistent, right? Don't give up. The only way you lose is if you give up. Now, don't keep doing the same thing all the time that's not working, but keep trying, keep finding new people to listen to if the people that you're listening to aren't lifting you up and helping you move along. And I'm going to be really honest. If you've been with the same coach for a year and you aren't further along than you were, you have a community. You don't have a coach, right? And even if you know it's because of what you're doing, someone needs to be helping you move forward and create momentum and get you inspired so that you're moving along the way you want to. The best coaches have multiple examples, hundreds of examples of here are all the people I've helped become successful, right? So make sure that you're holding your coach accountable too. Not every coach is perfect for every person. That's normal. But if you're using that as a safety blanket, maybe shake yourself up a little bit and say, I'm not doing everything she said to do or he said to do. And that's on me. I'm going to start doing it and see how it works, right? And then I would say to celebrate your achievements. This is a big one for me. And the best way to do this, in my opinion, is to list 10 ways that are free to celebrate your achievements and 10 ways that might cost some money in a range of money. So you could start on the low end with, I'm going to go get a cup of tea with a friend, maybe escalate that a little bit to, I'm going to go to my favorite bookstore and get a book that I really love. Then you're going to go all the way up to maybe the highest level, which is I'm earning a vacation with my family, right? But make sure you've got things to celebrate along the way. And then plan for the future. That's the last caveat here. If you are here in 2023 and you're thinking, this is absolutely not the life I want. I do not want to feel this way. I do not want to live this way. I live in abundance. I want to manifest a new way of living. Don't wait till 2024 to start, right? Let's start strategizing around the end of the year when so much invisible work is happening, when end of school celebrations are starting to suck us in, when all the holidays come rolling one after another, and a lot of the work falls usually on one member of the household to make the magic. This year, let's plan strategically and use these techniques to engage others and make sure that you're not out on that island alone, working all the time, missing the actual joy that you're creating, whether it's your health, your business, or your family. I know that you want to be right in the middle of where your goals are. So if you're not there yet, you've got plenty of time. Let's just turn the gas burners up a little bit and get you on your way. I'm so grateful you're here. I'm actually going to be coming to you this weekend since technical difficulties prevented me this week, and covering a couple of those other concepts that we talked about in the static post. So thank you for being here. I love you so much and have an amazing